Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Iran has rejected US economic pressure and sanctions, with Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baqaei saying Tehran will not accept Washington's demands under any circumstances and is prepared to respond to any form of aggression. Speaking at a news briefing, Baqaei described US economic sanctions against Iran as illegal and said Tehran would seek assistance from its allies to confront the latest American sanctions. He also addressed the Makkah agreement, saying Tehran had not received any official invitation to participate in it. Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defence Forces Field Marshal Asim Munir has reached Tehran. The Field Marshal held a meeting with the Iranian Interior Minister soon after his arrival. Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi also attended the meeting with his Iranian counterpart. Field Marshal Munir is visiting Iran as part of Pakistan's diplomatic efforts to promote regional and global peace and stability. According to the Inter-Services Public Relations, the visit is aimed at advancing efforts for a peaceful, lasting and comprehensive resolution to the conflict in the Middle East. The US has threatened Iran with what it called the greatest financial offensive ever marshaled as it prepared to roll out economic sanctions on Monday that target Iran's trade partners. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wrote in an opinion piece in the Financial Times that at dawn begins an economic D-Day, the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary. Without detailing specific measures, Bessent signaled the US would target fearful nations that practice appeasement by engaging with Iran's economy and financial system. On the other hand, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps has dismissed the United States' threat of intensified economic pressure, saying Tehran is prepared to counter Washington's moves and has already developed scenarios to deal with economic warfare. Speaking to media representatives, IRGC spokesperson Brigadier General Usain said the US announcement was an implicit admission that its military campaign against Iran had failed. The spokesman said that if the United States had achieved its military objectives, there would have been no need to launch another economic offensive against Tehran. Iran has said that it blacklisted 45 tankers that broke its rules for crossing the Strait of Hormuz and would take action against any vessels transferring loads with them, escalating its threats over the key waterway 6 months into the war. According to an ex-post from the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, the named vessels could be fined, detained, and have their cargoes confiscated. The post says any vessels involved in ship-to-ship transfers with the named vessels could be added to the blacklist. The United States has cancelled a joint amphibious landing drill scheduled for next month with South Korea after Washington cited constraints on the availability of US forces due to the war in Iran. Seoul's Marine Corps said the US Marine Corps formally notified its South Korean counterpart in June that force availability would be constrained for the division-level exercise known as Tiangong. A spokesperson said the allies remain in close consultations on resuming the drill.
Iran's new top security official, Mohsen Rezaei, has said that not a single drop of oil will be allowed to leave the Persian Gulf if the US blockade continues. He warned that Iran could also target American economic interests if Washington maintains what Tehran calls its hostile actions. On the other hand, Iran's defense ministry says the country and its armed forces have enough experience and capability to withstand and overcome any crisis. Spokesman Brigadier General Reza Tlaibani made the remarks as tensions with the United States continue to escalate. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that the United States has become desperate and has no new solution against Iran. Dismissing President Donald Trump's economic war as the same old American bullying, Araghchi said Tehran has seen this scenario many times and knows how to confront it. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf has taken a swipe at Washington, saying a frozen foreign policy produces a frozen economy. In a sarcastic post, he said the only thing still moving was the Iran boomerang, suggesting that US pressure was backfiring. Iran has warned neighboring countries against joining what it calls a U.S. economic war, threatening retaliation against states that support Washington's sanctions campaign. Mohsen Rezaiei, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, said countries participating in economic restrictions would be considered enemies. He warned Tehran could initially seek dialogue, but would target the interests of countries that refuse to distance themselves from the United States.
That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.